like a prisoner there in the light. She stood, she knew they couldn't miss her. And then they took her, wrestler, walked over life like you wrote to me, 'cause she wanted me. She kept quiet, they kept beating her. They felt sad for her, but an order is an order. She was a prisoner there in the light. She stood, but she knew they couldn't break her. And by the shore, the bombs were falling with the snow. You wrote to me, 'cause she wanted me. You wrote to me, 'cause she wanted me. 'Cause she wanted me. This is Ellie. This is Ellie. Wanted me. You wrote to me, 'cause she wanted me. 'Cause she wanted me. This is Ellie. 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 What a way to go. What we don't know isn't worth a dime. And we nail them all. I know you're the worrying kind. Is there any way? Or do you like not being found? In time the light will fade. Don't you know I worry about you all the time? Anytime you wanna leave tonight, the morning comes and goes, but I'll always be your shoulder What a way to go. This incarnation is really wide. The air is getting warm. I know you're the worrying kind. And is there any way? Or do you like not being found? Until the light will fade. Don't you know I worry about you all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Don't you know I worry about you?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Paladins Patch Notes Show. My name is Rain Day. I'm joined by High Res Pretty Hair and, of course, our art director, Thomas Holt, High Res Holt. It's time to get these patch notes for OB43 underway. I know a lot of you are very excited. It's kind of the tension is palpable here. They know something good is happening 2 times in a row, and that's not usual for us. But we got some things to cover before we get into all the feline action, which I'm sure people have been talking about. For this patch, we've got some purchasable in-game content coming up. That is actually going to be in honor of Valentine's Day. So we got a Valentine's chest that's being introduced into the realm for players to buy.
Yep, lots of love. So you'll see the chest on your screen now. We've got some great content coming into this across a number of champions. And specifically, Skye is kind of the one that's getting the most love out of this. So,
okay.
So she's getting a full skin set, so she'll have ACC, as far as her head attachment piece with it, the body, and an updated weapon as well. As she's like firing some hearts.
Time is ticking.
Yep. So in addition to that, she's getting an MVP pose. We've got an emote that we'll show you as well. And then she's getting a spray and a voice pack, of course.
Wow, she's getting hooked up, man. She got the deluxe package on this one.
Sugar Daddy Holt.
We could see some of these emotes when you all are ready. And I mean, look at this, the Heartbreakers set, very appropriately themed for Valentine's Day. She's going to be breaking a lot of hearts. Smoky Love. Aw, isn't that adorable? The heart comes out in smoke.
That's the perfect emote for after your top play. Just chilling out.
Yeah, if you are a Skye fan, I'm sure you'll be enjoying this skin. Pick that up in the Valentine's Day chest. But that's not it, actually, that's going to be coming with it. There are a couple of other champions in the realm that are going to be getting some love with this Valentine's piece.
That's correct. In the Valentine's chest, we've got 3 other weapons. So Cassie's getting some love, Grok's getting some love, and Androxus is getting a revolver as well. So you'll see the new Cassie crossbow on here.
Nice bow.
Yep.
A Cupid. Struck.
Yeah. It's dangerous. I didn't know Cupid hit for 650.
Does this come with weapon effects? Oh, there
it does. Yep.
I like that. Look at that.
I never commented.
Is that new?
I never.
This whole like
yes,
gray out
no,
the
it's
rest
not
of it?
new. But I was just going to say something. I never commented on this, but it actually is a really cool way to show off the weapons.
How do you get to this screen?
I know.
This is the store. You should go to the store.
I just own everything.
That's
already
right.
In my account. I've never had to go to the store. Dang, so there it is.
Yeah, and if they show, there we go.
This
So,
is my favorite one, I think,
played
Thomas.
with this one, yeah. I played with this yesterday. This is awesome.
Now, this is just, finally, I think, one cool thing, because it's beautiful, and it's a great design, but I think it's just Grok is getting some love. We don't see a lot of skin love for Grok recently. A lot of other champions have gotten a lot of that kind of focus, but he finally gets, like, a really good staff. And
it's perfect for Watermelon Grok.
Yes.
For that recolor.
It was worth the wait, I think.
Absolutely.
And, oh, look at this, the broken heart in the middle. I wonder
Sad boys.
Yeah, he's a bit of a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's edgy. He rides solo. He doesn't need
He doesn't need anybody. That's Androxus' style, the bad boy in the realm. He's got his motorcycle, he's got his revolver with the hearts on. And, of course, I feel like there's one more thing that we've been kind of teasing a little bit this week.
Whoa, before we get there,
okay.
We've got a couple of the champions that are also seeing
you're
some
right,
love
you're right,
and
you're
stuff.
right.
So, Pip, of course, is getting a little bit of love.
Of course. How could Pip not get something?
He's so just adorable.
Yes, dude.
So, he's got these heart-shaped goggles, and of course, similar to his normal goggles, they're up in lobby, but they are down and over the eyes during gameplay. So,
oh, really? Oh,
yes.
so those are what his eyes look like. When you're in the game.
Yes, it's all hearts.
Wow.
All hearts. So
that's
perfect. Cool. I need new goggles for Pip because I don't have Mad Scientist.
Yeah, I actually agree. I agree with that.
And then Victor, of course, is getting a slight update in honor of the holiday for his eye patch as well.
What happened to Victor's eye?
Oh, I can't tell you about it yet.
Did a cat scratch it out?
I can't explain that yet.
Maybe after OB43.
Maybe someday we'll figure out what happened to Victor's eye.
I don't know. He seems like he doesn't want to talk about his past very much. There's somebody else, though, who's getting some love as well.
I think a few people play this guy. I don't know.
There might be
some axe love and stuff.
People are going through the streets and screaming, "Bow down."
Yes. So,
boom.
So we got Grover as a rose bush. This is awesome in game. Like just seeing those roses, like just bouncing and the animation and stuff kind of going into it.
Do they explode when you ult? They go full bloom?
No, but
no.
We can dream.
We can dream. Yeah, that's beautiful. Very romantic. I feel like Grover, if I don't know who his companion would be in the realm right now. Maybe she doesn't exist yet, but I feel like this is the skin you want to wear, when you want to impress.
Right. And then as you were teasing a little bit earlier, we've done something we haven't done in a while. So, I mean, we've got a couple of the mounts in the game.
Yeah.
I see a lot of flaming war horses and stuff
There's a lot
riding
of those.
around and stuff. But in honor of the new holiday, we're bringing a unicorn to the realm. So.
Heyo!
Yeah, so, and he's great. I think we'll see him in game as well. He leaves hearts behind him, and it's amazing. It's definitely brought a different kind of attitude, I think, to a lot of the playtest.
So, Thomas, what spurred the decision to finally put something, in regarding, a mount adjustment? We see a lot of skins, and mounts, obviously, another cosmetic. The art team, the design team, hasn't really gone that direction very often. What kind of made it be the decision for Valentine's Day and to put this one as the unicorn, nonetheless?
Well, I mean, for the people who've been with us for a long time, they know the actual design around mounts and how they're used in the game has changed quite a bit. And with that, our approach as far as internally and what we want to do with mounts and stuff has also changed and shifted. But this fit with what the current design is and with how that works. And it was basically just an opportunity as we had a little time, as we were putting it in, the theme fit, the idea, got the team internally very, very excited. And as you know, we're killing it to get these champions out and stuff. But so
right.
the focus has definitely been more on champions than some of the mounts and some of the other things in the game. But with this one, it's too good to pass up.
Yeah, if you ever need another concept artist on the mount side, I might be able to join. That I got some great ideas.
Oh, awesome! You should swing by.
Okay,
yeah.
I will.
Okay.
That's gonna do it for the Valentine's Day chest. We got a lot of great things coming up in this patch, but of course the sprays are going to be included in that as well. So in terms of the actual cosmetics for your character, that's what we saw. But some sprays you'll still be able to use in game. Sky and that. I like the unicorn one.
Yeah, the
that
unicorn's
troll
great.
Face, man.
Man, yeah. This is it's some of Enna's artwork that she did for a teaser
that is
going
definitely
out.
Enna, now that you say that.
That one's available for every champion, and then the Sky one is just for Sky.
Aw, so she gets some special love.
I like that spray.
Yeah, that's really well done. Sky looking very good. Woke up on the right side of the bed with that spray. But that's going to do it for this one. And, of course, it's time for the special segment for us as I balance our phones here on my knee. It is time for balance.
It is.
Nick, are you feeling balanced?
The scales of justice.
Are you at a balance?
Must be adjusted.
Are you a little antsy? You're ready? You're calm, collected?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this.
It's fairly light.
It's fairly light this week. That's right. We got a couple of things that we're going to be talking about. Most importantly, there are some changes to some items that we will address to you, and a couple of changes to the champions, and we'll go through them in order as usual. Nick will give his esports kind of comment on that, and I'll kind of set up the conversation. First off, Blast Shields.
Yes.
Blast Shields and Haven provided too much of an easy option against many champions in the game. And with the removal of aggression, we feel like it doesn't provide the level of counterplay that we would like. Bringing down the values of both means the defense tier can lend itself more to resilience or illuminate. Now this guy's got those cool skins. So what they're really doing is reducing the damage reduction from 10, 20, 30 to 7, 14, 21.
Yeah, so the messaging there was pretty clear. These are very clear, and it's kind of a catch-all, right? Especially Haven. Most of the champions and Paladins are Haven-based. They're direct damage. So Haven was something you could pick up almost without thinking.
Yeah.
And that's kind of not what we want out of the item system, right?
Right.
There has to be some thought to it. There was a little bit of thought to it, but they were so effective. And then on top of that, getting rid of aggression, that was, albeit not the best way to counter Haven and Blast Shield. So bringing those more in line and not, taking so much damage away from players, slowing the game down too much.
And I think also what you might see is that the TTK, right, the time to kill, has maybe some adjustments into it, because now, when you get to late game, Cassie and Shaolin, they're not getting mitigated by 30%. You have a whole other, almost a full card tier, right? Yep. It's almost as if you can only get to Haven 2 now, what it was previously. And so that pace of those last fights are going to go a lot faster.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more, hey, you got to make the right decision at the right time, make the right play. Otherwise, there's really not enough room to bounce back.
And this will definitely help bring resilience more in line as well, because each rank, right? So spending 900 for that extra 7%, that's a big decision to make.
It is.
3% doesn't seem like a lot, but it starts to stack up, and it's very expensive at high ranks, and resilience might be a better option for you in a lot of cases now.
And you may not want to hold your breath. You may be spending it on other items in the categories. We got some adjustments. We'll keep talking about those now. Cauterize. We fixed an issue with Cauterize where it was stacking with other healing reduction mechanics in different ranks of itself. Healing reduction will now take the strongest present value.
Yep, so strongest wins here. there was a bit of a thing where if somebody had Cauterize 1 on your team and you had Cauterize 3, if you both shooting the same target, the weakest rank was actually winning out. So it was only applying Cauterize 1. It won't,
wow.
Things like Fireball with Fernando and that sort of thing as well. So now the strongest rank of Cauterize or anti-heal, any source of anti-heal will win out.
Great. That's the intention. That is what's going to happen. Of course, Nimble as well is kind of having a little bit of a redux, so to speak, so that it works properly. What would be happening is they fix an issue where if a stronger movement speed buff was given to a champion, it would overwrite Nimble and it would deactivate until you actually die and respawn again.
So the scenario here is, say I'm running around with Nimble 1. I got 10% extra. But I'm also running start 4 on Fernando, which gives me 40% after I charge. When I charge, I would get my 40%, right? But as soon as that buff wore off, Nimble would no longer reapply. It would take me back to my base movement speed without Nimble. So now it will take you back to that 10% where Nimble had you before.
And people weren't really, I mean, I didn't even,
it's hard to
I wasn't
notice.
aware of that. It wasn't, it wasn't game breaking, right? Obviously, but still, because, obviously at those times you're going to, it's not going to stack on each other. Nimble, the highest will win.
Yep.
So you're not really missing that, but it's definitely going to help for those people who are investing a lot in Nimble. You can see more value in that card as well. Now, in the healing items section, we've got Veteran, a card that was the staple of healing items in Paladins. It was pick up Veteran or you're crazy, right?
Because it was bugged.
Because it was bugged. Make Veteran great again, please. And what they're going to do actually is kind of lean towards that direction. Veteran now getting a reduction in credits, getting the resilience treatment, getting the life rip treatment now, going from 300 to 200 credits per rank. This is going to only cost 1,200 to get up to a full tier 3 of Veteran.
So it's cheaper now, more viable. I think, just playing today, just streaming today, I was playing Fernando, and 90% of my healing was coming just from getting out of combat, right? Everybody's had that pip healer where he's just healing himself. He's running around. He's not worried about you. So Veteran is a great option for if you're a tank that your healer is just not paying attention to you, or if you're cauterized all the time, you need to get out of combat to heal up. Veteran can still be a viable option in those situations.
I'm excited to pick it up because, of course, those tanks, they need it most. I was getting blown up as a Fernando today, and, people were just chucking damage at me, and I just couldn't get out of there and get back into the fight fast enough. So Pip wasn't healing me enough, man. Dang it. Somebody make Pip heal. All right, Life Rip. Life Rip, it's getting some adjustments here. Lifesteal now correctly works off of exact damage dealt to target. This excludes damage dealt to personal shields and damage that has been mitigated by damage reduction. Lifesteal is now properly reduced by healing reduction, and you can no longer use Lifesteal against deployables. So kind of break that down for us.
Yeah, so cleanup's kind of across the board there for Lifesteal. Won't steal against personal shields. If it's being mitigated, it will only steal off the damage you did. Right? And then deployables as well. So just cleanups across the board. Or Life Rip. Which is now cheaper.
Yeah, and it was also applying a little bit too generously, apparently.
Yeah.
Cards, a little bit of a cards adjustments there where some had movement speed buffs that would stack with other sources. Just seemed like they cleaned that up. Not much to talk about there. The first one, though, to talk about is in the champion sector is Drogos. Now, Drogos is seeing some general improvements to his Wormjets card performance with high ping, but most importantly, he's seeing some adjustments to Salvo. And let's talk about this. I'll read this through, and you can kind of break this down for us and the meaning behind this. Salvo has been underused part of Drogos' kit, and we want to bring it back into a strong viability. The danger we wanted to avoid was allowing it to deal full damage where it could become an opportunity to burst a target at full health when it's available. Instead, we're increasing the usability and greatly increasing the size of the explosions to turn it into a strong option against large groups of enemies. So what it's going to do now is increase the explosion radius of each individual rocket by 70%. It's going to reduce the time between rockets from 0.2 seconds to 0.15 seconds, so 0.5 off of that. And it's going to increase the accuracy of those rockets from 90% to 95%. So kind of talk about what's this doing for Drogos.
So right now, it's a very niche ability right now with a very high cooldown where you're just looking to blow up a shield with it, dumping all 6 rockets into it. And with the changes to the accuracy and the explosion radius, it'll be viable outside of that where you won't just be pinpoint targeting one shield down. You can just fire it into a big cluster of enemies and just put damage onto all of them because the explosion radius is going to be big enough now to hit all of them. We're just kind of trying to see where that if it helps it come back into the meta at all, because it's a very high cooldown ability. So it did used to have that very high burst potential, and now it was just kind of the shield killer. But now with Wrecker being so strong, it needs to have another purpose.
Absolutely. So we'll see how that turns out. Play Drogos. Give us your feedback on that. I am under the impression that will be an interesting one to test. I can't really tell.
It's fun, and I forgot they do come out quicker now, so it'll all happen. You'll be able to catch people off guard with it. I think a little bit more easier. They'll get hit with more of them kind of at once.
It will be exciting to press what is
Press
it, Q? Yeah, you can press Q with
Making
Drogoz.
Q great again.
I'm waiting to press
Making a lot
right
of
mouse
things
button
great
with
again right now.
Androxus. I haven't done that in a while. Actually, I had to do that today, but our right mouse button in the stream room was broken, and you'd switch it to thumb button.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for telling me, buddy.
I don't know.
I got in a
Sorry, I
game with
forgot.
Stolzy as Makoa, and I'm pressing my right mouse button. Nothing's happening.
I had to
I'm like,
rebound.
no!
I rebounded to thumb button.
Thumb button. Where does
Some
give
guy,
a brother some
some
notice?
guy, he told me, he's
before he
like-
gets in the game with Stolzy.
Yeah, it wasn't working, and some guy's like, yo, just rebind it. And I literally just gave him crystals because he saved my game. I was running around as Makoa, unable to hook people, and I was like, this man saved my life.
Bless up, man. All right, so we got a couple more changes. Very quick,
Yeah.
though. Eevee Blink, she's improved the Eevee's Blink route under high ping. So kind of Drogoz and Wormjets under high ping.
Yeah, it's just
Same thing.
high ping cleanups. It's
Cool.
nitty gritty stuff.
Cool. Not really any big buff, just kind of making sure everything works properly. Ruckus, he's going to get an advance adjustment. Now, actually, this is interesting. Chronos will affect the cooldown of advance, which it wasn't before.
Yeah, so two things. The oppressor mines kind of got the same treatment because those are both, they store
Yep.
charges and they have a recharge rate.
Yep.
So those both now will work with Chronos.
Okay, so that's Kinessa's change. That's Ruckus, and he also just quality of life. If you're curious, you're one of those not data miners, but just interested in these facts. Ruckus is AOE's rockets from his Hexafire will now be count as blast damage, AOE damage.
There you
So
go.
mitigated by blast shields. Torvald, you got a general reload UI kind of treatment to make that
Yeah,
look a
just
little
a
better.
little thing. I guess the ammo count was clipping into the little shield indicator.
Yeah, on the left side.
So now they won't.
All right. Shaolin coming up, longbow. Fixed an issue where Shaolin's bow would not get interrupted when pulled back upon getting disarmed.
There you go.
And planted, fixed an issue where Shaolin's animations will get stuck in the planted state during kill cam and spectate.
That's a big one for me.
That's
that
huge
always
for
annoyed
us.
Me. Yeah, so it was just like,
Yow!
I don't
Hey!
know if you noticed, it was like
Somebody's doing something.
His bow would just stay vertical from the planted for like basically the rest of the game while getting
He'd just be like
spectated.
this all
and
game.
it looked weird. Yeah.
It would just be like, what? All right. Spectate somebody else. Sky. Hidden. Uh-oh. Huge buff. I'm just kidding. Fixed a bug where activating Hidden would remove the speed boost from Victory Rush. The stronger value will now be used.
Yeah, so there's a lot of kind of sweeping changes to get things in line with the strongest wins kind of scenario. And when you lose a buff, getting back to where you were, you know, with Nimble or anything like that, not going all the way back to your base movement speed.
Some really good cleanups here as well. Just kind of fixing how everything works. And of course, it's kind of a priority thing each patch, looking at different things that are really being affected. So very good quality of life changes here. Trailblazer on Tyra as well. Fixed a bug where this card's description had values of 50, 60, 70, 80 instead of 50, 40, 30, 20. I think I know exactly what card that is, where it was a little bit confusing in terms of her movement speed and how that was being calculated.
Yeah, so all sorts of movement speed. And kind of the theme here with this patch is we're staying kind of light on the balance changes with the introduction to the legendaries in the near future. So that's gonna shake up the neighborhood a good bit.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to wait to see before we make any giant adjustments for that to come through and see where things settle.
All right. Well, speaking of settling, we're not doing much settling here. We're actually trying to push the bar. We're trying to go farther and greater every single patch note. So that's right. You guys get it. It's a new champion coming into the realm for 2 weeks in a row. It's Maeve. She's coming through. And boy, oh boy, am I excited to show you all her, to talk about her. And actually, I'm not going to do that much talking. We've got a special guest coming into the house. You haven't seen him for a while. I've seen him a lot behind the scenes. He's been the guy kind of taking the lead on this champion, and I'm going to introduce him to you right now. He is one of our designers, High Res Martini, a.k.a. Garrett.
How's it going, man?
What's up, dude?
Excited to talk about our new character.
Yeah.
She is probably one of my most fun characters to play with.
Oh, yeah.
Like, without a doubt. I'm really excited to kind of talk about the backstory, kind of where she came from, how she entered the scene, and also eventually show you guys what she does.
Well, we see the image there. I mean, while we're kind of, going through maybe taking a look at her champion screen and maybe some of her emotes, why don't you set this tone? Like, what is the backstory? How did Maeve come into existence? Maybe, Thomas, you can comment on some of the art side as well.
Well, for Maeve, she's definitely, she's one of our youngest champions kind of coming in. And she comes from a hard life, She grew up on the streets, did a lot of things to get by and stuff, and primarily a lot of stealing, a lot of thievery. But as part of that, too, is, she's scrappy. She's been in quite a few fights, everything else, and has become a master of blades. So you'll see the blades on her coat, you'll see the blades in her hands, and definitely inside her gameplay. But yeah, so she's kind of our scrappy little brawler. You know, bringing the blades to the game, and basically that kind of personality and tone that we don't quite have yet in the realm.
But Garrett, what's up with these blue eyes? What's going on with that?
Okay. So we got to kind of, you know, set somewhat.
And this isn't a cat, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. She's actually, you know, anthropomorphic human, not a giant cat, despite what some people may have, you know, thought or been suggested. But she has very cat-like qualities. It's a theme that's persistent throughout the rest of her character. She has the abilities are named very, very feline-esque, which we can get into later. But she's got these kind of mysterious, big cat eyes that really lend itself to her gameplay and her ability, which we'll see later.
Yeah. And it's obviously, let's take a look at the that's the default mode. I love it. Just cuts the gravy right there.
I think the next one's even better.
The next one, we can take a look at this.
Check out the other one. So this gets a little bit to her thieving kind of past, and a little bit of her sense of humor. So
that's
that is
some
so
bad manners
much
right there.
BM. You know, this just got me like, what if every time she pulled out a different weapon? Oh my God,
that would be good.
Or different emotes where she did different. I mean, she should have an emote for every single champion that you're playing against. This is beautiful. I love it. Ying, she's getting the hardest BM on this one, but it's beautiful. I love it. And the style, again, you know, any choice for the colors, why the pink hair? Is this a stylistic choice? Is this part of her maybe background? Or?
Well, a lot of the color tone, and so as Garrett will get into, she's very movement based. She's a flanker for the game as well, and so what you see there is you see a coat, magical coat. It ties in a lot with her abilities, you know, something that she picked up in her time. But as you see with the movements, and if you see this other stuff, she has these streamers and these ribbons coming off of it. So a lot of her coloration, her hair, the coat itself, and the movement that you see magically in the coat, all kind of tie into those abilities and kind of make that movement make sense.
All right.
It's a really cool effect.
We're almost in game. We're almost going to talk about what this champ can do. Are you ready for this, man? Are you excited?
I just want to know if chat's ready for this.
I don't know if chat is ready for this, man. I mean, we've been playtesting this one for a while. I think Nick and I got in and played Maeve, and we're kind of like...
You guys got in early.
We got in really early, and we were helpful. You know, I kind of say I kind of designed her, right? That's how that's how I talk.
Yeah, this guy over here.
No, I mean, but you know, I really enjoy playing her from the ground up and seeing her kind of change. And there was a lot of conversation about where is her damage, where does it go, what abilities. So as we get in the game, it'd be very interesting to kind of hear a little bit about that and why the choices were made for what it is now. So let's take a look. Finally in game, the moment you all have been waiting for. Maeve coming in, OB43 the flank. Let's check out what her skills do and what she looks like.
So right off the bat, you're going to notice there's no gun here. Those knives are definitely integral to her kit, and she is hucking them with deadly accuracy. It is probably a centerpiece of her character, obviously, but also centerpiece of her play style, and something that our players are going to have to learn. These are two burst projectiles separated by a short amount of time that have arc and drop. So it's definitely a very skill-based thing that you're going to need to pick up and do. But yeah, as you can see right here, like it's dropping. It's definitely not optimal to kind of start a fight from long range.
Yep.
But hitting these projectiles consistently and combining them with your other abilities for optimal burst is like her bread and butter, and what's really going to separate a good Maeve from a bad Maeve.
Now, she's also got no reload, I'm noticing as well. What was the kind of decision-making process in giving her reload or not giving her one?
She just has lots of knives, man.
She just has so many.
Lots of knives, yeah.
That coat is long.
Yep.
She's stolen a lot of things.
Yep. She's got them all on her hips and in the pockets and stuff like that. So after she throws them, she just reaches down and gets another pair. She comes prepared for these battles. Doesn't need to reload.
All right, so I'll kind of let you set the pace on this one. Let's talk about what now her kit does in general. So we've got the left mouse button. Those are the daggers. That's what they're called. The knives that she throws. What's her right mouse button? You can kind of walk us through the skills and show them off that way.
So obviously there's more to her knives than just being thrown. So I'm going to go on her alt fire next, and then we'll do her movement abilities. But the integral part is using this alt fire correctly. And at base, without hitting an enemy, it is a very fast directional dash. That's also represented. The cooldown is represented on your crosshairs, which seems to be bugged right here. So that those arrows on the side of your crosshair will disappear when this ability is on cooldown and then reappear when it's back. So you get this nice kind of tentative feedback, like right in your face. Special condition, though, if you intersect with an enemy as you're traveling, you perform like a very quick melee slash and then bounce off.
Ooh.
Like so.
Get
Yeah.
wrecked, Dry Bear.
So it's a very quick kind of flick skill ability, and a pro tip for your players that are like, oh, this is my main, I want to play this character. The combo you want to land is to land both daggers, dash, bounce off, and then land 2 follow-up daggers.
So let's see what that looks like. Let's see
It
if
might kill the
I think this is
other
Kret,
bot.
right? Let's see if Kret can do this. He threw it a
Done.
little late, but yeah, that's it. Oh, get unicorned, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the skill combo. That's the right click. And obviously, so it's a mobility.
It's a
thing.
multi-directional dash, right? So anywhere in the air, up.
Yeah. 360 degrees, you can use it. She's extremely mobile of a character, which will segue into the next ability, F. So that was called Prowl. This ability is called. That was ability called Pounce. This one's called Prowl. When you activate it, you get increased run speed for a duration, and also increased jump height. But something we haven't touched on, and is actually a huge thing, and I apologize, is that she has a double jump.
Ooh, first double jump.
Yeah.
First double jump at Paladins, ladies and gentlemen.
Wherever Maeve grew up, so the city streets, she's had to be quick, she had to be fast, she had to be deadly. But double jumping was just something that she needed to survive.
Oh my God.
Now, combining that with your F, you can do some pretty heinous things.
Oh my God.
And hopefully our camera guy doesn't die. So yeah, so on F, you get increased movement speed and increased jump height. And also the daggers seem to be glowing a little too intensely right now. So I wouldn't read too much into that. It doesn't amp her damage or anything like that. But using that to navigate the battlefield, to get flanks, or to kind of exit combat quickly is a big part of her character.
So this is how you basically, you enter that battle. This is how you get behind the flank route and really surprise somebody who thinks you shouldn't be able to be there because you're not that fast. I mean, this is faster pretty much than a mount, so to speak. I think Maeve can actually travel, especially when you use the dash in combination with this.
Cards. Maybe with cards, for sure.
And with cards. She can get around quite a bit. So she'll be there faster than you think. That's kind of the goal with Maeve here. So she's got obviously the left mouse button, the dash she can add on top of that, and this prowl. Can she prowl and fight at the same time? Will the prowl movement stem stay while she's attacking?
No, that's a great question. Any action you take during prowl will cancel it. So it's not like you're going to be running around, circles your enemy extremely fast and killing them at the same time. So it will end prowl when you use an ability, when you fire, or get CC, stuff like that.
Got it.
And then, so now that we've touched on these other 2 abilities, her last ability, her Q, kind of synergizes very well with these. So base core gameplay is that, hey, I really love to move around extremely fast and do crazy acrobatics. And the thought behind the Q is like, I just kind of want to do it more, actually. So what your Q does, ladies and gentlemen, is it actually resets both the cooldown on your movement ability and your right click. So you're just like...
So what you're saying, this is a redo button?
Yeah, it's the, oops, I screwed up, I dove too deep, can I reset my abilities and exit? And it's also, there is a heal attached to it as well. It's a quick little burst heal that can maybe save you, but probably not, especially if you're cauterized. But it's kind of a nice additive, like, oh, I'm in trouble, oh, hit this button.
So let's take a look. You know, there's a lot of action going on screen. Maybe we could slow it down and really take a look at what it would look like to do a combo or maybe do an attack, and then, you know, use that Q to kind of either reset that or reposition afterwards. So he's there in the air. He's looking to attack. He's got the dash available. And there's the Q. He's got the dash right back again. And he's got F.
And he's got F. Yep.
Yeah, I think both the animation team and the effects team did a really, really good job with this character.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of frantic gameplay. You've got a lot of fast movement, a lot of things going on, and especially if you're hitting those combos. And they did a really good job of making sure that it reads well as you go through. As Garrett mentioned, yes, the glows on the knives right now are bugged, so they kind of flare up a little bit just to message you when you're doing some of your abilities, and of course that's being stuck on. But in general, you watch the trails, you do this other stuff. She's easy to track kind of in game as much as she should be, I guess, as a flanker.
Definitely.
But more importantly, it feels really, really, really good to play her.
Oh, so. It feels amazing. I mean, that's why Nick and I were so excited about this champion. We would just have such a blast. It invigorated, actually, the scene, and I'm really excited to see what this does to the game. Now, as somebody who's just watching this, I'm looking at this champion, I'm saying, I think this is it. This is all she's got, right? I mean, she doesn't need any more.
Yeah.
She can't really have any more.
We haven't talked about her ults.
She already does what she needs to do.
They have ults, right?
We do have those.
Not
in
this
game.
one, though, right? This one still has an ult?
No. I see it right there, actually.
Oh, God.
So...
Maybe it's just something, you know, simple.
Yeah, let's just hit the button and find out. We'll just narrate it. We'll wing it. Okay, so activating this ability will affect basically all enemies within 300 feet of you and puts them in a sphere of darkness for 4 seconds.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. So if you're from, this is definitely a nod to a character kind of in our other game. If you haven't played Xbalanque and Smite, this is definitely a kind of an ode to him.
Yeah.
No big deal, rank 10, but definitely a lot of fun. Has huge gameplay impact in a shooter where your crosshair movement, your tracking is so imperative. And this sort of team fight, I'll use at just the precise moment, can really turn the tide of battle.
And kind of like what we were talking about with that, again, that messaging that goes around it. And as a flanker, she's about picking out her targets, right? And taking them down. And so the first ability you saw was when the camera person targeted the other person, and you'll see a ring around that character, which is basically their visibility. It's what they can see kind of in the world. And then the parts where it's like, so if you see the ring now around the other
That's their vision range.
That's their vision range. So you can see how much they can see. You can either use it to get away, you can use it to move in between, because again, it affects all enemies that were within that range, or you can use it to basically plan your attack. When it hits you, man, the engineering effects went crazy. Basically, the world fades away, and you get into a very dark and scary spot.
Good night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's creepy.
That phrase is going to haunt our players for the rest of their life.
It really is. It's going to be like, it's going to trigger me. It's going to trigger people. You know, your mom's going to be like, good night, Evan. I'm like, what? No, where is she? No. Not again. Not again. So there's finally Kret, takes down Dry Bear. I'm sure he's been wanting to do that all day long. Hits him with the BM. But wow, she just brings so much, guys. And looking at, the design of Maeve, I'm very impressed with a couple of things. Just not only the fact that she's able to bring something so unique with the ultimate and I think change the meta, force players to kind of adjust and deal with something new. But I also I'm excited that she fits this role so well. I mean, she really feels like such a good flanker. That's the class. You can't confuse her with a damage. She is all about flanking. And I think people who pick this up are going to enjoy that class, that style of play, more than they ever have now when Maeve gets into the game at OB43.
Absolutely. It's really hard to play our other characters after I play this one in playtest usually. I'm like, oh man, especially when you load in, you're like, oh wait, I can't double jump as Fernando? What is this?
So that's it. That's Maeve, OB43. She will be coming out and will be ready for you to play. We've got one more thing before we show her. We actually transition into the next aspect, but it is her voice pack, which we can listen to a little bit in a game and see just kind of where this all comes from. This is a very good one.
What's up? I'm a cut above the rest. Woohoo!
Hit me with the curses.
Oh, got that wash. Oh, got that wash.
Oh, get that wash.
Too bad, kitten.
I mean, that.
Shush it.
Shush it.
Shush it.
I'm sorry, this is just so good.
Shush it. Shush it.
Get the wash and Shush It are probably my favorite ones. This voice pack was pretty incredible. Don't you think, Dry Bear?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Wait,
See
what?
ya.
What? I'm over there.
Well, what about you, Thomas? What do you think?
I think it's great. Our team did awesome. Worked so hard.
Yeah, okay. So Kret's going to kill me when I'm not at the desk anymore. Is that how this works? It's the only way he gets me. It's the only way he actually gets me.
He's got some pent-up frustration from some play tests earlier on.
I guess so. It was so hard not to kill him, too. I was just like watching him fly around. I was just like...
Yeah, man, you have a pretty solid Maeve, I gotta say. It's pretty.
She's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I gotta get a lot of credit to the team because we just everything kind of came together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions too around showing the actual ult radius and actually hiding things. We had some issues with silhouettes appearing or revealing people when they weren't supposed to, but also getting the movement to feel right. Because initially we're like, we want a fast character, right? And then Garrett and the team were really big on kind of creating a character that can move faster than any other character, right?
Yeah.
When you think about that, you think about these crazy ideas of why would you want to do that? Is that possible?
Right.
Would that make sense? And when we finally kind of pared down the excess of the kit and made it sure that that was the big thing, it just turned to be a lot of fun.
It's kind of funny too because I see ideas that we even talked about. I know we were at DreamHack in Sweden and like Vox and I were on a bus. I remember we were all talking about maybe a priest type guy that could blind and seeing some of those like mechanics actually come into the game much down the line, but in a different type of champion. Really cool. I wonder what other stuff will come out there. But
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Man, I really don't. I don't think you do.
I have no idea.
I really don't think
We
you
just
do.
take
I
it
just
to
work
go.
So we got a great segment. Of course, Thomas transforms into Hi-Res Alyssa, and of course, is Hi-Res Drybear, lead designer for the game, Paladins, and we'll be doing some community questions to wrap up and finish this patch note show. So, Alyssa, why don't you lead us off and kind of guide us through this section?
Yeah, for sure. We reach out before every patch preview to see what questions you guys have in the community. So the first one is, how many stats are being reset with the Season 1 patch? And is it a soft reset or a hard reset?
Currently, there is no plans for a hard reset, at least for the foreseeable future. There is a chance that we may end up doing a soft reset, and just so people understand what the difference is, right? Because a reset's a reset, right? A hard reset, in most cases, is when we feel that it has changed enough that we want to basically kind of bring that back down to base. And in a hard reset situation, everyone would come back to about a gold level, right? An average starting level of rating, and then stick there. Right. And then you have to fight your way out of that, either up or down or wherever you're supposed to be. In a soft reset, the difference there is we basically would just take the range of people, and from your all the way up to your masters down all the way down to your bronze, and then we would just squeeze that range a little bit. So kind of like bring everyone a little closer to the middle, right? The top ones, they're like way out there, or maybe they've been playing a long time, they've been kind of got too far ahead of the pack. We bring them back closer to the pack, and then the bottom ones would come up closer to that gold, and we kind of scrunch it that way. But everyone would still have their same distribution, right? So at this point, there's zero chance that we do a full hard reset and that everyone goes back to the base rating. There's a chance we may look at doing some level of soft resetting to make sure that people have a chance to kind of get back in there. If someone went too far off the grid, right, we bring them back onto on the scale a little bit. But for the most part, you will be staying about where you are now, and we'll kind of let that go into Season 1.
Gotcha.
Cool. That's you, girl.
Next question, sorry.
There it is.
Is there ever going to be a different PvE than just 5 versus 5?
Yes. So PvE is something that we got out very quickly, right? We wanted to kind of, we had some cool ideas. Charles, our AI designer, has a lot of really cool ideas he's putting together on how we make those encounters interesting. We also have a very cool long-term plan to get more actual encounters in there, maybe a 10v5 or a 1v5 or 2v5, right?
Yeah.
Some crazy things to kind of bring that together. But largely, since we're, the team is focused on Season 1 and kind of getting some cool things out. Also, console folks out there, they've been waiting patiently to get console out. We're putting a lot of developer time into making sure those come as soon as they can, right? And so that kind of limits what we can do in the short term, but long term, we really want to make sure that we kind of flesh out the adventure section of Paladins and make that even bigger and better than it is now.
Awesome. How many people are working on Paladins in total?
We are, it's kind of hard to count, because obviously we have an amazing platform team right now that do ops, right? And so all those times where, you get a brief disconnection where Paladins drops a little bit, and then 2 minutes later it comes back. That's literally someone who is sitting there at 6 a.m. who just has a coffee kind of drooling out of his mouth. He's like, they must play, they must go on, right? So remember, every time those happen, kind of give it up to all the ops people out there that are they're on call 24/7, making sure patches are going out, you're downloading the content on time, things are moving up, and largely we don't count that in the core development team of Paladins. We also have a lot of other people outside that handle international engagement. So you're looking at translations when you're in France and you want to play Paladins and it's in French. That's kind of outside the there's a lot of really kind of great efforts that come worldwide to make Paladins work. And it's core when you're looking at just pure development of working on the game itself, working on the client, creating the content, making new champions and maps. We're around the 70 to 80 mark, and growing. We're still looking to kind of add to that. But it's in that range.
That's incredible. I don't think a lot of people realize just how many developers it takes to make a game.
That's right.
And how much goes into it. So it's really
a lot
interesting.
of hands.
Yeah. A lot of esports commentators as well. Just a ton.
Heads and noses.
To really make this game work.
All right.
Just so many.
What's the biggest challenge you face when designing a new champion?
I think it varies per department and per discipline, right? When you look at more the creative side, when you look at the art and design, right? When we're trying to creatively make something out of nothing, right? When we're sitting there like, all right, let's make a champion. And you just stare at a wall and you're like, yeah, how do we do that again, right? And so it starts in the beginning, and actually we'll start more on the side of design of kind of figuring out what do we need, right? So like, okay, well, all right, well, we're short on front lines. We only have 4. That's bad. Let's get a couple front lines on the schedule, right? Well, we need a flank, but one that plays a little bit differently. Maybe a new support that heals this way. So we start with basically what is the need for the game, or what is the game going to be like when this character comes out? Because it takes a long time to kind of get a character from the start all the way to the finish and out into your guys' hands.
And they can change a lot in that time.
They can change, they iterate. And sometimes that time gets pushed out because we realize that we thought that was cool,
But
it totally wasn't.
it's
That
not
sucked.
cool yet.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
terrible. Let's not let anyone outside the studio ever see this, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's awesome, and we're like, yeah, let's share that with the world. The biggest challenge is really making sure that we rein in our expectations, and we're kind of trying to hit that moment, create something new and different and unique, something no one's ever seen before in a reasonable amount of time so you guys can play it, and kind of putting those together and making sure we make a hit, right? Making sure that when it comes out, it's something that adds to the Paladins, something that didn't exist before, adds something new that you were really wanting, but in an interesting and exciting way, and bringing together all the disciplines of thought, making sure it's technically sound when all the programmers and engineers get onto it, it's visually sound and has kind of some cool character to it when the art team gets a hold of it, and also gameplay-wise, very interesting and exciting. All that comes together. It's really just making sure that the heart is right.
Right. Will changes be made for lobby chat to make it more visible?
Done. Did it.
That was easy.
OB43. Yeah, so someone on the Season 1 YouTube video made a comment earlier about saying something
I saw that.
hey, like when we go in a match, I feel like I can't talk and coordinate with my teammates because the chat doesn't pop up.
That's
and
right.
So I responded on YouTube. I was like, okay. We're gonna do that. So like some of the programmers kind of looked at it, had some adjustments there. We had one of our UX designers look at it too, because there was actually an issue when you auto pop it where you would have an icon of one of the support characters being covered up. So real fast, and appreciate kind of the team getting together on this one. It's gonna auto pop when you go to a match now, so you can immediately start, hey, please pick Pip because I'm gonna pick Aggression Victor, and I'm not gonna change my mind ever.
And I won't change my mind. Yeah.
And we actually scrunched it down a little bit so it doesn't cover any of the champions either.
Right.
So done.
Nice.
Next.
I'm still picking Aggression Victor, even though Aggression's out of the game. That's what I feel like is still happening, man.
Yep.
The servers had big issues lately. Are you going to fix them in OB43?
I can do that. Hold on, let me go.
all right.
I'm gonna go fix the servers, guys.
Can you do that?
Yeah, that's my job. That's my job.
They're over there by the popcorn machine, actually. It's on its way. Yeah. It's coming. Yep. So we're gonna get that. So no. The longer answer on that, and again, back to talking about the ops guys that are working tirelessly around the clock. And remember, they have families, right? So they're we have some of the guys that literally they'll be in bed sleeping with their wives next to them, and they'll roll. All servers are down, and they'll just like roll over and do it on their laptop and go back to sleep. So we actually, unfortunately, had a series of DDoS attacks, denial of service. For those who don't know, this week we are kind of working through and adding more and more production every single day to make that better. We are hoping to be on the better end of that, and we appreciate you guys being patient. But we have kind of a crack team of really smart developers and engineers that are in there, kind of solving that problem. And we're always on guard.
I mean, I think that's the other conversation that I like to bring up whenever people address this on stream. There was a lot of talk about that today, and it's just that I think everybody has the incentive to make sure our games are always able to be played, and everyone's working as hard as they can. There's a lot to be said about just opening kind of the mentality of it. Hey, I know I want to play this game, but maybe there's something else going on with the people making it as well, and maybe they're doing their best. So just keeping all that in awareness, I think it's a good thing for our community to always be on top of it. We're unlike a lot of companies. We make a new game every 2 weeks, almost like that. You know what I mean? So,
like
a lot of games just give you your game and they say, see you later. And, there's bound to be, obviously, things that are constantly adjusting and, being manipulated. So everyone's doing the best they can.
One of my favorite parts about Hyra is the fact that, almost all of us, you have to have a passion to make games, right? You'd be stupid not to, right? So it's amazing to kind of live in the high-res environment. Hopefully you guys feel that passion coming from us when you interact with us or come to events or you're at HRX or whatever. But my favorite thing is, sometimes we'll just be sitting there working and, we'll get an email from the president of the studio being like, man, buff Tyra, she sucks. And we're just like...
It happens.
Wait, what? What? Are you on Paladins right now? I was like, yeah, I'm on this ranked game, and I'm trying to kill him, and I can't beat him with Tyra, so buffer. And it's just like, all right.
Tyra will now receive 1,800
and
damage.
And now Tyra is
the
best character in the game, and aggression's gone.
I know, that's very funny. But, that's part of it. It's part of games.
It's a life.
Part of games.
It's lifestyle.
It is true, and we're really glad for your patience with that and for bearing with us. So. All right, next question. Are we still going to keep the cards that we already have, or are we going to collect them all from the beginning again?
You will keep them.
Keep them.
We're, and obviously for those of you guys who haven't been with us very long or kind of know about high res, we're always about making you guys whole. So, if we change the price on something, we'll usually give you a refund for it. If we take an item out of that kind of thing, we'll adjust for that. But the big thing here is that if you have the cards now, you'll actually win out. And that's actually one of the best parts that I can kind of remind you guys. Number one, save up your gold, save up your grind, play as much as you can now because it'll all be very meaningful when we hit Season 1. And also all the cards you have now, which they'll cost 1,200 gold now to craft them, they may turn into a epic or a rare or something that has a higher quality or a higher cost to it, and you'll right off the bat before the patch comes out already have it, which means you're saving yourself a bunch of time now. So grind, play a bunch of Paladins, save all your gold, and get ready for Season 1.
If Grover uses his ultimate in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
You know, I was thinking about that, and actually when we were talking about the Valentine's chest, I think it was you that mentioned that Grover will someday have his companion.
Yes.
I think that's the only person that would notice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and since he doesn't have his like Grover lover,
yes,
right? Grover lover
lady,
isn't around the Grady.
Yeah, Grady.
Grady. So there's something there. There's a green male. I don't know.
Sylvanas.
No, not so.
It's not Sylvanas. It's not Sylvanas.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, right. I
But
mean,
it's just
if you wanted to.
if you wanted.
Sylvanas
But
would
it's
hear
just
it.
that's not.
That's
you know.
right. Yeah, I think that would be the only person. Otherwise, people just don't notice.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, so that's all we had, but I think there is something else that we can talk about, a new chest.
A new chest.
Ooh.
Where is it?
Is there some flare?
Did you bring it?
I think it might be surrounded by flare. I don't know.
Is it?
I don't have any
what kind of flare. Yeah, so talking about that, we did actually last patch. The community was like, hey, we really want a way to get emotes and poses. We feel them being in the Radiant chest is kind of hard for us to get. And also there's a lot of things in the Radiant chest drops are there. So in the last patch, OB42, we dropped all those into the Colossal chest. The first reaction was,
why in the colossal chest?
where does Tri-Bear live?
You
I'm going to
messed
find
up.
him, and I'm going to correct this issue. So a lot of
Give
people
my
kind of
taggers.
talked about that, and we kind of went back and looked at a different way to present that, right? We were responding to the need, but obviously the answer wasn't correct, right? So we're gonna change that. So in OB43, what we're going to be doing is taking all the MVV poses and emotes out of the Colossal chest. Now don't worry, if you guys had gotten an emote or a pose from the Colossal chest at the 75 crystal price, we'll give you the difference there. So you'll on patch launch or shortly after, a couple days after, you'll guys get those crystals coming back because we are going to be creating a new chest called the Flare chest, which basically will be a standalone chest that has all the emotes and poses in it by itself. It'll be 50 crystals, same cost as the Radiant chest. So if you really want those poses or emotes, you start grinding through that. And again, similar to other chests, if we end up put those in other chests in the future, that just gets you that item pieces there. Oh, we found it.
Oh, hey,
There
here it is.
Hey, and all your crystals are here. Yes. Yes. No, they're just the camera makes all the crystals look green. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
there
It's
it
a
is. There
filter.
It doesn't say Smite.
Oops.
It doesn't. It
I had that going
It
though.
doesn't say Smite. It's the chest there. Yep. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
So
the
this,
Flare chest.
yeah,
Flare chest.
it's a flare.
Yeah,
You don't know
we
what's
did it.
coming.
Wait, is this even what is this?
I don't know.
It's
What
it's
is
an,
that?
it's an emote.
Oh man,
it's
they
just-
used to light up, huh? Oh, that's a lot. I got to say, I'm very
flare.
happy with this. I didn't even know this was happening.
I'm glad. I like it when people are happy.
I love the emotes and I love all of the MVP poses. So now I just know exactly where to go to get them.
It's
That-
much
I'm very
easier
happy
to get
about
them
that.
now, so it's good.
Yeah.
I'll bring it together. And also,
Yeah.
since we're talking about chests, the big addition to this patch is actually one of my favorite. It's not Smite.
Sorry.
It's, there it is.
You're right.
There,
It's
there's the thing. Yeah.
Paladins
All
with green.
one of the things that has been requested a lot, largely for me, especially when I'm looking to kind of get Radiant chests, sometimes it feels a little slow.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
It feels like, you have to buy one, open one, buy one,
Yeah.
open one. I want to get a lot of them, especially in anticipation of Season 1, where there's going to be a lot of cool stuff to get out of the Radiant chests, and Radiant chests are
Right.
going to be, purchasable with gold. So you're going to want to grind through that. In OB43, we're going to allow bulk buying of Radiant chests only.
Whoa.
It's like
So you
the
can-
Sam's Club of Radiant chests. You just
Kind of.
go.
Sam's Club's
Costco.
still a
Yeah,
thing.
Costco.
Costco. Yeah,
Sorry,
it's like the
from
Costco.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
You really are, girl.
She was there back in the day. She's the original. She has her Sam's Club card still. Yeah, so you'll be able to buy Radiant chests in numbers of 1,
Okay.
5,
Okay.
10,
Okay.
15,
Oh God.
and can you guess the last one?
35.
20.
Oh.
There was a
I was
close.
trend
I was like
there.
15.
It
I
was
was-
like 5, 10,
Yeah.
15.
Now I
It's
see
just-
that.
yeah,
Now
you
that you're
see-
saying
You
that,
tried.
that makes
It's
a
kind of
lot
like
of
a
sense.
linear
Yeah.
progression.
That makes a
One
lot
of
of
the cool
sense.
things about that too is since we had the bulk options, just to encourage people to kind of get those bulk options, we'll actually be adding a per chest discount based on how many you
Oh,
buy.
nice.
So
Yeah.
one Radiant chest will be 50 crystals. If you buy 5, it'll be 225, which means it's 45 per chest. Then 10 will be 40 crystals per chest. 15 will be 37 crystals per chest.
Wow.
And then 20 will be
15 crystals per chest. Because 30.
How did you make it here? How did you make it this far in
I
life?
didn't do.
How did
I
you
don't get
survive?
it. 15,
It's
right?
35 crystals per chest on
Oh,
20.
okay. All right. You
So
threw
it's-
me with the 2.5.
That means that basically,
You
yeah,
threw me
so
with the 37.
I did.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, you got me. You got me. You got me, man.
Yeah, it's like 36.6, but I rounded it up. So basically, if you buy 20 at a time, it's as if you bought each one for 35 crystals each, which means
Gotcha.
15 crystals off after your 3 or 4 chests.
It's a
You got
big
one for free.
discount
So
there.
that way you're getting them in bulk and you buy it up, and also
That's
you'll
awesome.
be ready for season 1.
That's awesome. I'm excited. I'm going to pick up some chests. I'm going to pick up some Flare chests, some Radiant chests, some Colossal chests, some Paladins chests. This is Paladins.
Picking it up.
If you guys haven't figured that out.
Done.
That's going to do it for us here. OB43 is coming to a close. We've got Maeve. We've got chests. We've got everything you need, and we're so excited to bring it to you. PTS, when we got it. When we got it, my man, seeing into the future.
That's the future. It's coming. More champions, man. This is
Good to
champions
know.
back to back, and then we're also doing more champions and then more champions after that.
It's a simple question.
What?
When's PTS coming out?
Soon.
God.
We're aiming for today. We usually aim for Friday. Obviously, it's tentative. If we find an issue that we can't
Right.
watch it with, we'll kind of pull that back. But again, back at the studio, we got people working on getting that up right now.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you all soon. Make sure to download PTS. Check out the new champion, Maeve, and all the cool stuff we've added. The new Valentine's chest as well. Pick up some of those. And as always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, Dry Bear.
And
And we'll see you all in the round.
look for Grover in the forest.